Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video on Python for Ethical Hackers. So we are in the middle of sorting the second step out. In the previous video we did created the regex rules for for finding our MAC address, but in this video we'll implement those rules, those regex rules or those regular expressions rules in Python. So let's get to our code straight away. I will open up a new terminal and let's just minimize that, and I will open up the code in nano. So that would be nano example.py, and that will open up the entire code in the nano. So if you are new to the channel and you haven't watched the entire course, we are creating a complete ethical hacking course in Python, like how can you use Python to hack stuff up, or how to use Python to automate your entire hacking stuff. So if I will highly recommend you to watch our previous videos first, because this video won't make any sense if you are new to this channel or to this course, or if you are just watching this video. But anyway, we are implementing the regular expression rules in our program. So let's do it. So in the previous video, what we did was we find out the MAC address using this rule. Now we just have to implement that rule in our in Python. So the easiest way to do that in Python is using the re library. So re is let's search it out right over here. Okay, so re is a Python library used for executing the regular expressions. So if you're willing to implement your regex rules or regular expression rules, you can do that by using the re library. You can read all about it right over here, but let me show you how to the easiest way how to implement your regular expression rules in Python. So the simplest way is to import the re library first, and that is by writing import re. Once you import that, you can just come right over here. So this is our first print function that prints out the result of the if config. After that, we need to write re. So that is the library we are calling. If you are willing to call the re library, we just write re and then add a dot, and then in that we do have a search function, which you can go to its documentation, which I have show you right now. You can just come over here to the documentation and you can read all about it right over here, but let's just simply use it and then you will know. So re.search, and inside that search we need to write r, and then after r we need to add the double quotes, and after double quotes we need to write the rule that we have created for finding the MAC address. So that is simply copy and paste. Once we do this, I will just come over here, bring the cursor right over here, and then click paste. Once I paste it, then the next argument would be where do I want to find, or in which string I want to find the MAC address. So the result is stored in the if config result. So I'll just provide this variable to it. So that would be if config underscore results. So that is pretty much it. Now we can access, we can run the rule right over here in the re.search, and then write r, and then provide it a rule, and then provide the string that we want to find. So right now we are not storing the result of this research anywhere. So for that reason we need to declare a variable, and that variable should be a meaningful one, because this research doesn't just return one string. This research doesn't return just one string. It returns group of string, or group of all of those strings which are matched to the pattern. So for that reason we need to name it accordingly. So that would be regex results group, and let's make it equal to that. Once I make it equal to that, now we just need to print it. So I can just print it out like regex underscore results underscore group, and then I want to call a function on it, and that would be group. So let's just, in order to remove confusion, let's just remove this group from right over here, and let's just make this variable regex result and regex result, and then after that we need to add a dot to call a function and then write group, and it would be a function, and I wanna access the first element in the group. So once I do this and save the program, come back to the terminal and run the program, and I just misspelled the variable, so that is a problem, and that is if config result. I forgot to add the L. Once I correct the spelling and then come back over to the terminal and then run the program, you can see that the MAC address has been printed out to the screen pretty accurately. Now we are almost done with the program. With the second step, we have found the MAC address, and the first step was to read the output from the terminal, which is done, and the second step was to read the MAC address from that output. Now I just have to add one small condition, and that would be if I come over to the terminal and try to run a command in which we don't have a MAC address, so it will throw an error. So if I run the same command but just with a different interface, that is LO, and LO is basically a simple interface added by the virtual machine which doesn't have any MAC address. So if I run the program on it, you can see that it doesn't have any MAC address. It does have the net mask and everything, but it doesn't have the MAC address. So that's why it throws an error. So just to sort out this error, we need to write a simple condition, and that would be if there was a MAC address, so that would be if regex underscore results, then print the MAC address, else print could not find MAC address, and that's it. If I save the program, come back to the terminal and try to run the command with LO, you can see that it prints out could not find the MAC address, and if I run the same code with ETH0, you can see that we do have this MAC address printed out to the screen. So once more, just to remind you, we are creating an algorithm for finding whether the MAC address was changed or not. We have divided everything in small steps. That the first step was to read the output from the terminal. The second step was to find the MAC address in that output, which is done now. If you haven't watched our previous video, which was for creating the rules of regex, I would highly recommend to watch that. I will link it down in the description. So till next time, enjoy hacking, stay cheeky breaky, peace out.